Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Masterclass Episode 12. We are on the 12th episode, and this week we will be doing deck discussion, customs with analysis, and some cooperative laddering. And it won't be the deck you're expecting. This week, we're going to take a look at a new deck. It's a deck that Tarn's been working on, and I'm going to let him tell you a little bit about it. But before we get to that, I would like to say hello to my co-host. Tarn, how are you doing this week?
Doing great. Can't complain. Been a good week. Still been chaotic with the move. The move been slow, but otherwise everything is good. Yourself?
That's right. Yeah, I'm good. I was away out of town for the weekend. I was in Vegas playing some cards, some poker, did a little winning, and yeah, I'm back. But tell me a little bit about the move. It's been going well?
Yeah, it's been going well. I've just been kind of going a little bit too slow, but I pretty much just have my room here yet to move. So kind of everything's over in the new place. Just have to move the computer in bed, basically. But otherwise it's going good.
Nice. Well, cool. I'm feeling a little cold. I don't know if you're feeling a little cold, but I think we should warm it up.
I think so.
So. Here we go.
A little stiff. Need to warm up.
Warm it up. So yeah, Vegas was a lot of fun. My family was in town from the East Coast, and we spent some time in Santa Monica, showed them around, and then we went over to Vegas for the weekend. They're actually still there, but yeah, it was a really good time, and I love playing poker. So I got my No Limit Hold'em on.
Oh, that's awesome. I assume that's where your winnings came from then?
Mm-hmm.
A little poker action?
Yep. I've played enough in the casino to occasionally be able to pull out a victory and walk away from Vegas with some cash.
That's awesome. That's always a super bonus, in my opinion.
Absolutely.
You can leave with anything. That's
Nat Pagel already?
Nat, he's going to work.
Jeez.
He's here to work tonight.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Gonna have to waste my entire fiery war axe on that Nat.
You have to hate on the fishermen so much, man. Why do you have to hate on the fishermen? Well, I gotta get my cards somehow.
That's funny. That's a good one. Wow. Choices. Well, he's definitely coming down. And I think I'm actually gonna do this instead of that. Oh, I did that in the wrong order. I'm such an idiot. I'm a little cold, as I said. It's been.
You're just warming up. You're just warming up. We'll forgive.
Yeah.
We'll forgive. The pirates, though, you know, they come to play. They come warm.
They do.
Let the pain speak to me.
God.
I love that guy.
That's pirates. Alright. What can we do here?
You can do that.
Blood.
Ooh. I like it. Oh, that's painful.
Haha!
Haha! Oh, it's great.
Pirates, man. They're too good.
Yeah. Pirates too strong, man. Pirates too strong. I actually don't really need to do that.
Oh. Pirates.
So be it. Man, it's been a little bit. I feel like I've been away from Hearthstone for a while. Played a little StarCraft, playing some poker, having some fun in Vegas. I feel like I've been away for a little while. I'm glad I'm back, though.
I know how that goes.
Look at this Perdition's Blade.
Firing. Turning that ship. Firing those cannons. Oh man.
Bam!
Taking me to Northrend.
I figured now that you played the Blade, you know, that 2 damage is gone. But I'm sure you'll pull something
Is it?
out.
Is it gone? Is it ever gone?
Probably not. Probably not with a rogue. Dem dare rogues, man. Dem dare rogues. But that's why we warm it up, because this is all about having fun. You know? That's what this is about. Alright.
Absolutely. I'm almost out of pirates, so I'm gonna have to do something about that.
Man, what do I do with this?
Let the pain speak to me.
Slamming. Double card drawn. Unnecessary amount of cards drawn right there.
Mm-hmm. Man, something chipped away at that armor pretty quickly.
You gotta get the pirates.
Oh, jeez.
You gotta get them.
Oh, jeez. Well, I am glad. Oh, my God. 6-1. What the hell?
You don't want to make her mad. She's so spiteful.
Oh,
She's so spiteful.
oh my goodness. Alright, how do we want to do this?
My blade be thirsty.
Oh god.
To work.
God. This doesn't seem like it's gonna end well. Yeah.
I can wait and fish all day. Job's done.
Yeah, Nat. Yeah, Nat.
Caught one.
That's what I'm talking about.
Man, don't want to do it that way. This is it's not cool, man.
So many
Okay.
options.
So
We've
many.
got a lot of options.
So many options.
I totally messed that up.
That was awesome. It was so deliberate. It was so deliberate.
It was so
You
deliberate.
You follow up with I totally messed that up.
That just did not work.
Oh my goodness.
Did not want to kill him.
Oh, that's awesome.
Did not want to kill him.
That's great.
Oh my god, this is clown show right now.
2 from the perdition and 2 from the
The
perdition.
pirates are falling
Oh
apart.
no.
The ship is sinking. Why?
Bring me life.
Why do you always have to? Oh, come on. Don't you know that pirates like hate dragons? Come on.
They do. They
Alright.
definitely
Drink up me hearty.
Can't win. I'm gonna kill Nat. Nat's gotta die.
do. Nat will die.
Oh man, the ship has sailed.
It's
Party boat. It always starts so fun, and you just come crash the party. It's just not cool, man. It's not cool. Oh Jesus. Let's not have that BM going now. There we go. There we go. You've earned the GG for the no excessive buffing of Garage.
oh, GG.
Oh, man.
Alright. Well,
Very
I'm
nice.
gonna jump over to the agenda real quick, and from here, I'm gonna pull out of this particular game, and we can head over to the collections, because what we will be discussing next, when Tarn has a second to get in there, is Tarns New Deck. So here I'm pulling up on the screen here. Tarn, you want to tell us a little bit about the Penitent Mage?
Yeah, it's a deck kind of put together this week. Was looking to play something new. Was looking to play something different. I wanted to create a spell-based mage Not a freeze base mage, no blizzards, no conic colds, no frost novas, etc. So the original concept was actually designed around Malagos. I wanted to not only bring back the mage, but I wanted to kind of try to do it in style and use a card that's just like rarely used. You see Malagos from time to time, but it's rarely used.
For sure.
So I kind of came up with the initial concept for this deck with Malagos in mind. However, as you kind of look at the deck list a little bit, and you get towards the end, I am running 1 Flame Strike, Archmage Antonidas, Alexstrasza, and 1 Pyroblast. And all of those feel really, really solid in the deck. But it was just getting to the point where that adding 1 more 9-drop in Malagos just wasn't cutting it.
Right.
So I had to go back to the drawing board and come up with something, a replacement for Malagos. And kind of after many iterations, didn't come across it right away, but stumbled upon probably the one card that's sticking out to you guys like a sore thumb right now. Is this guy right here, Harrison Jones. He's the linchpin in the deck. He's the hidden weapon.
This is the question is, the penitent mage will pass. I believe if this mage is worthy, he will pass. He will bow and he will pass.
He will bow. He will bow, and it kind of fits the at least my thoughts about this deck. I'm a little penitent. I kind of bow down. I accept the fact that this deck has a weakness, and its weakness is druids. And druids are giving a lot of trouble to a lot of classes right now. And I kind of just surrendered to that. I said, okay, I'm going to do okay against druids, but I'm not going to be strong, and that's how it's played out. This deck is not strong against druids, but I wanted to come up with an option that would be relatively strong against a lot of other things that I've been facing when I'm not facing druid, and that's a lot of hunters, a lot of warriors, a decent amount of aggro paladins, both types of druids, both types of warlocks rather, both aggro and giant warlock, and the occasional shaman here and there. And so the goal of this deck was to try to give myself a much higher win percentage against all of those other options while kind of surrendering myself a bit to the druid and just kind of trying to roll with the punches when I face a druid, but it does struggle.
Absolutely. Well, we've been talking about this Harrison Jones card, and obviously Harrison Jones is a reference to Indiana Jones, and the Penitent Mage is one of the lines from the Last Crusade that Harrison Ford or Indiana Jones has learned from his father's diary. And there are 3 tests that they must pass. So we're going to run this deck through 3 tests.
Sure. I had some numbers written down somewhere, but I've misplaced them. Just real quick, before we hop in there, I'll just really quick kind of run down the deck list and some of the thoughts about the construction of this deck.
Sure.
In putting it together. As I said, it is a spell-based deck, as you can obviously see. I believe it's something like 17 total spells, give or take, without me having the numbers. And then I wanted to make sure that pretty much all of my minions also that are in the deck either directly benefit from spells themselves, such as mana worms, or directly provide a benefit to spells, hence the Sorcerer's Apprentice, the Blood Mage, the Water Elemental, which synergizes with things like Ice Lance, etc.
Yeah.
And then the few remaining things that don't, synergize directly with spells have spell-like abilities. So, like Alexstrasza, big damage or big heal. And actually, the way this deck plays, often you're using it for the heal rather than the damage. And then, of course, you have the Ooze, weapon removal. And in coming to Harrison Jones, the reason how he ended up in this deck is once I determined that Malagos was not working, I needed a replacement, and I was lacking a little bit in card draw, running only the 2 Arcane Intellects. So my natural first choice was to run the Azure Drake, because I was also feeling comfortable in my mana curve. I was missing. I had no 5 drops, and I didn't really want another 4 drop, and I didn't really want anything too much smaller because I wanted something with a little bit of punch in the mid game. So
Sure.
I started with the Drake, and the Drake felt okay, but it really didn't feel like I was gaining too much benefit from him. You get the card, sure. He's a 4/4, but more often than not, I was not actually benefiting, ironically, from how much spells I have. I wasn't actually benefiting too often from his extra spell damage, just when he came to play. And in facing so many hunters, so many paladins, so many warriors, I thought, well, how can I stretch this a little bit and get a little bit more utility and still keep the card draw and still keep it within that 5 mana cost? And I didn't have the card. I was looking at cards I didn't have and thought, you know, Harrison kind of fits that. He has the potential for the card draw. He's actually a little bit stronger of a minion without the spell damage, but he's got 1 more attack than the Drake, so he fits that little punch if I'm able to play him on the board. And it's been working great. It's been catching people by surprise left and right, and it's been a lot of fun to work him in the deck. So that's kind of just the general thoughts on the deck.
Wonderful.
And,
well,
I think enough talk.
with that, we walk from here. All right, I'm going to bring in a game. And we're going to be watching this game from Tarns' perspective. So if you're confused as to why you're not seeing my perspective, I'm going to start off with the weapon-based warrior. If you're confused why you're seeing his action, that's what's going on here. Like I said, we're watching it from Tarns' perspective. So,
okay, so the first thing, obviously, is the mulligan, and as things typically go on the show, we get like the worst possible draw. I almost never keep Blood Mage in my starting hand. Blood Mage I actually do actively try to use for that extra spell damage later on in the game.
right.
And, of course, not keeping Archmage or Alexstrasza.
Yeah, those are pretty straightforward. I had a decent hand to start, but since I haven't played against this deck, I don't really know what's ideal, but I've got some small minions, things I can play out. The audio might be a little desynced because the audio is from my game as the video is from his. And on your turn 1, looks like, you know, you don't really have anything to do, and that's pretty straightforward, so I will...
Yeah, this hand isn't optimal, although I wouldn't be... I'd be a little bit wary on getting this hand that I had drawn into on the ladder, but I do at least have a turn 2 and a turn 3 and 4 potentially.
Yeah.
But knowing how many early game weapons are out there, I'm not too comfortable with the starting hand, but I could have worse ones. And we just drew a nice card to have.
It's time for a little blood.
We'll keep them for later.
Absolutely. And with that, I'm going to bring out the weapon, get rid of your guy, go to the face. Typically, I might not want to clear a minion this early, but that minion has a lot of potential for danger, so it's kind of critical for me to get rid of him. Tarn, you looks like you drew a polymorph, and that's a good card for later, but as it stands right now, you don't really have any options except for Arcane Intellect or pinging my guy, which also won't do much but give me armor. So I'm imagining you're thinking Arcane Intellect.
Absolutely. It's never too fun to have to play one this early, but when it's your only option, it's your only option. So you got to go with the Arcane Intellect and pass. At this point in the ladder, seeing the setup that you have right here, I would not be feeling too comfortable. I wouldn't be feeling horrible yet, but you do have a pretty nice situation going on.
And as per usual with a warrior, you don't want to use your weapon against a hero. So I know that he's got Harrison, but no one would ever attack with this weapon unless they absolutely thought it was turn 5 and this was coming out, or an ooze. You don't waste the weapon on the hero. So even though I know there are potentials to remove my weapon, it's not something I'm going to do. We're not playing it like that. We're playing it as you go on the ladder.
Unless you're playing a straight aggro warrior, that is, of course.
Correct.
If you're playing a straight aggro warrior, you're just going to be pounding away there.
Yeah.
But, so this is definitely a tough situation. I could bring out the water elemental, but it has potential for leaving, you know, some removal on your end if you're running things like execute, shield slam, etc. While letting your berserker get buffed.
I mean, your biggest issue right now is my frothing berserker. So
exactly.
You know, how do you want to delay till you can clear the board? Do you want to bring out the fire element? I mean, what, you know, it's tricky.
Usually in this situation, it's a tough one. This is a tough bunch of cards. I think I typically here will bring out the water elemental. It is something that you will need to deal with. You do not want me freezing your face and keeping you locked down as a warrior.
Yeah.
And it leaves me one more turn to kind of assess the situation. I'm okay with taking, you know, one swing from your berserker at this point, even if it's buffed to like a 5 damage.
Right. All right. I'm going to. So I'm going to deal 1 damage to everything. Going to damage this guy. Going to execute this guy. And go for 8. And might at this point push for damage with such a strong board.
Yep. Okay. Well, that obviously hurts quite a bit. We do have at least some ways of getting around it. Obviously, Harrison is out of the picture.
Yep, and you know, you don't want to ever bring your minions down to 1 health versus a mage, because if they have a spell, they can usually kill anything below 4 health. So I feel like the 8-2 is an optimal play, but certainly there are ways of removing it, which I'm sure you'll do this turn.
Yeah, it's a tricky one. If this was turn 5, I would just freeze it and leave it.
Yeah.
But since this is not... I mean, sorry, if this was turn 6, I would freeze it and leave it.
Yeah, because then you could Flame Strike next turn.
Now, I am going to play it a little bit greedy and give you the extra armor.
I think that's the right move, actually. I think that's the right move. You don't want to use your other ice lance. I think that's absolutely the play here. I've got a frothing on board, so I think knowing that things are going to start taking damage, could always hit for 1, hit for 2, and buff up my guys, and then bring out my pirate. That's not a bad idea. I'm losing my minions, but I'm making my frothings bigger. That's not the safe play, but that's the aggro play, and that's kind of what I'm doing right now. So I'm gonna go with that. This guy will live.
No problem.
And I'll get armor. This guy will die, and I'll get more armor. Bring out this guy. And I know my 1311 is gonna die, but that's alright. I've got a 6-4 now. So.
Yep. I did draw not a bad card to have, actually.
Yeah.
In this situation.
Arcane Missiles is great right here.
Although it is such a gamble. Let's see here.
What to do?
It would be too much of a gamble, actually.
I see. Yeah, you can't. Yeah, you can't do the
to
party
Arcane
and
Missiles.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
As much as I would have loved to, it's game over if it misses him. So.
Totally. Yeah, if you had one more mana, that was a perfectly legit play.
Strike.
Wow. Okay.
So the trouble I'm seeing with this deck is what I was thinking. And again, this is against an aggro deck, and I got a really good draw. You got a pretty poor draw, but that happens. This is Hearthstone.
Yeah,
and I did get the
absolutely.
coin, which I believe is stronger in this particular scenario. But what I do like is some of the potential I see. So the question is, how do we shore up this deck? And I do see some options here. God, that is the most painfully slow
animation
ever. Alright. So...
Back to work.
Die, landlubber!
Strike.
You've got your Flame Strike. You don't need your Blood Mage. You certainly don't need
live
the
one
Ooze
more
or the
turn.
Harrison.
Alright.
Oh, of course I get that draw.
That does not help me. There was ways of me to potentially stabilize, although I think
Yeah.
you've probably got it. Well, that's the no-brainer here.
Belongs in a museum.
Yes, sir.
We at least get to play him. We at least get to play him.
and he does let you survive. I legitimately have no way of killing you right now. And that's one of my that's two of my 3 weapons down. So I do have some direct damage. I do have some reach in my deck. But you've got a long way to go with me at this much health, so...
It is quite a ways.
I don't even know if I want to give you... Yeah, you know what? I was going to kill your Blood Mage. I don't even want to give you the card.
Yeah, I would agree absolutely with that move. My god.
That's
I'll be just
good. That's really nice.
I can wait and fish all day.
I would have even potentially pyroed there, but that's fine too.
Yeah, the thing is, the pyro's not going to get me anywhere.
Right, you need the card draw.
I know I'm basically dead at this point, so anything I can do to possibly draw into anything that's going to save me is what I'm going to be going for at this point. Oh my god.
Oh god, what do I kill? The Nat Pagal or the Sorcerer's Apprentice? I think I've got enough health to go for the Nat Pagal, although I think 9 out of 10 times you want to go for the Sorcerer's Apprentice here. I don't know, maybe you never want to go for the Pagal, maybe you always want to go for the Sorcerer's Apprentice. It's hard to say.
In your situation, you've got to know that I'm at 2 health. You've got to know that I have to kill your minion. I have to kill my Sorcerer's Apprentice on your Arclight of Pain anyway, no matter what.
Or use some kind of spell to do it. That's like low cost.
That is true.
I'm going to go with the Pagal, although this is going to give you a potential to come back. I don't know, I might have... It doesn't matter. This is not the point. But anyway...
Right. We did draw into what I was hoping for, so we do live to fight again.
Nice. Very nice. That's a really nice turn of events.
And as I was saying, she's used probably 2/3 of the time in this deck for help,
yep,
rather than for...
and rightfully so. You found just enough potential here to prolong the game, to get out Alexstrasza back up to 15, which is wonderful. I am glad this turned out this way. You got a bad draw early, so it's only fair in my eyes that you get a good draw there and allow the game to continue.
It's not bad. It's not bad. At this point, I just need a bit more board presence.
Yep. That's legit. With an 8/8 on board, I certainly have a lot of potential ways to get rid of it, but I'm also in a tough spot too.
I can wait and fish all day.
Not.
I don't even know what to hit here.
Strike.
That's a good draw. So I think what I'm noticing in your deck as you play out your hand, well, you can play this hand out. You've got a lot of options here, and you need to be able to do some significant damage. Yeah, a Mana Wyrm solid. Fireball to the face.
And here's one thing that you always want to make certain of when you're playing water elementals. If I attack with the water elemental first, it will only hit your armor and therefore will not freeze you. So order of attack is actually important to guarantee the freeze in the case of weapons.
Yep. Interesting. All right.
I bring life.
Oh man.
Strike.
Oh, that nat. Let's see. I have to do 10, 18.
Looks like
That actually, I believe, is... Yep, that is lethal.
Nice. Really nicely done. Took one lucky draw, but certainly like you had a lot of potential for it to hold the game off.
Oh, absolutely. It was one of those nail biters. I just, you know... but again, the destruction of the weapon, getting that extra card from Harrison Jones, put me on the path. Again, it was lucky. Again, it was in the cards. But as I was saying, he did, Harrison Jones, that is, set me on the path to get that card by cycling the one extra card draw in there while destroying the weapon. He actually let me survive. So in that case, it was a moment of him actually kind of turning the game around, even though it didn't really look like he did at the moment. Getting him out when I did let me barely squeak by.
And so I think the other card I would really like to see in this deck is the Earthen Ring Farseer. I was talking to another player online about the Mage deck, and he was using a lot of the similar cards. There's certainly a lot of differences, but the key card in your deck that he had as well is the Water Elemental. It's a pivotal card for your deck, and it's a pivotal card for most decks like this that have the need to slow down weapons, the need to slow down minions, the need to freeze, to do extra damage. The key to that elemental is keeping him alive. And yes, he's a 3/6. He's got that 6 health, or 4/6, but it's still hard to keep him alive. And I've found that in some really strong decks, Mage decks, the Earthen Ring Farseer adds an incredible amount of value with that additional 3 health. And the Earthen Ring has the added value, if you have 2 of them, of allowing you to bring a 3/3 minion on board, which is absolutely fine for 3. And if you don't have a combination with the Water Elemental, you'll always have a combination with healing yourself for 6 total damage, which is totally worthwhile in a deck like this, where you're squeaking by the turn 4, turn 5, turn 6 damage or lethal blows.
Yeah, Earthen Ring, I definitely can agree a lot. I actually like the potential of Earthen Ring for this deck a lot more than Doomsayer. The potential, like I mentioned earlier, the kind of goal with all the creatures and cards in this deck is spell-oriented, or minions that have that kind of instant spell effect, and Earthen Ring falls really into that wheelhouse. While the Doomsayer does have the spell effect, it is a delayed spell effect. It is not the instant benefit, and kind of almost everything in this deck has that instant benefit, and that's I do like the potential there. The potential of keeping the water elementals alive for one more turn can be very strong.
Yeah, and it can always be used on other minions as well, but you know, it really pairs well with that elemental, as well as with healing yourself when you're in a tough spot, or maybe a turn away from being in a tough spot. The Archmage Antonidas is a really strong card, but it's also a really late game card, and you've got that turn 7 Flame Strike, turn 7 Archmage, 9-drop Alex, 10-drop Pyroblast. Do you find, I mean, certainly if you're playing a lot of late game decks, certainly be helpful versus Druids, that would be a great card, but again, versus mid and early game decks, it seems like that might be a bit of a liability, but I guess it's probably in there for the late game decks.
Archmage works really well in this deck with the spell tool house that I'm using. As you see, the majority of my spells are all 2-in-1 spells, and with Sorcerer's Apprentice, I can often even have them cheaper than that. So I'm almost always, in fact, the way I do play it, unless I am in a serious bind, is I'm always guaranteeing myself 1 fireball return every time I play Archmage.
Yeah.
And so he's always getting his value. He's always getting the fireball rebound, whether I'm playing him down and just freezing the hero with an Ice Lance, or I'm playing him down and throwing out some arcane missiles, or playing him down on turn 9 and hitting it with a Frostbolt or an Arcane Explosion. He's always getting his value, and he's worked really nice. It's usually, the way he works is he's rebounding that fireball, and then he's a magnet. He's got to die the next turn. If they don't kill him the next turn, well, then that pretty much seals the game. So he has worked really nice. I can agree that, yes, if you are facing the serious rushes, he's really not the card you're looking for in the early game. But the serious rushes are usually handled by the Arcane Missiles, the Arcane Explosions, the Mana Worms, the Frostbolts, etc. And so usually the super fast rush decks are held off long enough to where he can still become a factor in the game.
Sure. So it seems like you're thinking more along the lines of the Earthen Ring. Is there, just quickly, was there another card you were potentially thinking about putting in this deck?
There have been ideas. You know, I flip-flop with the idea of a Tink, just because he can be so versatile, and he's cheap. You know, he's still the 3 mana cost for the Tink Master.
I like Polymorph better. I would always have 2 polys before a Tink.
Exactly. Oh, I would never take out the Polymorphs. It would just be for the extra removal. However, I don't really feel I need it because, as you saw how I think I played in the last game, I'm not sure. I actually also tend to use my fireballs defensively. I have no problem in this deck, since I do have Alexstrasza, Archmage, and the Pyro. I have no problem using my fireballs on, you know, things like Chillwind Yetis or other mid-range high threats that I need to take out. So that's why I flip-flop on Tink, and I don't think he's really a necessary addition, especially you have my luck with him, and I'm always giving the opponents 5/5s.
Yeah, I hear that. I definitely hear that. Well, all right, so I'm thinking your call, but I would probably try 2, if you wanted to make a modification here, 2 of the Earthen Rings, and I would probably consider taking out the Swamp Ooze, and I would either, I mean, it's your call here, but I would probably go with one of the Arcane Explosions, if anything, would be the other card I'd remove. I like the Apprentices, I like the Intellects, the Ice Block, the Amani's good, I may make sense in the deck. Frostbolt, Mana Worm, Ice Lance, Arcane Missiles, those are all sort of pivotal cards. So that would be my
Yeah, I
switch.
can agree with the ooze. The ooze is probably, even prior to this discussion, number one on my potential chopping block as it is, because of the addition of Harrison Jones. You know, the question is, do I really need 2 weapon removals? And often the answer is no. So I can definitely agree with trying out losing the ooze. I'm hesitant with the Arcane Explosion. I would actually, as much as I like the Armani Berserker, I would lean towards removing the Armani Berserker instead of the Arcane Explosion, for the fact of the Arcane Explosion's synergy with not only the Mana Worms, but also with an early Blood Mage Thanos on turn 4 for a 2 damage AoE, has proven to be super strong.
Yeah, I could totally see that. Okay, let's do that.
So we'll go ahead and try that out. Armani Berserker and Ooze. And of course, with just the general prevalence of rush decks as well, the 1 damage AoE is always nice. It's just always nice.
Sounds good.
Right. Oops.
All right. Let us. All right. Let me see if I can. Try real quick here. I'm just going to see if I can't grab in your latest deck. Okay, I'm going to... Oh, did you jump out? I don't see you. Oh, there you are. Alright.
Yeah, sorry, I hopped real quick.
And I'm going to try a different deck. I'm going to go at the... my shaman deck, my traditional shaman deck.
Okay.
Let's go with the one I'm using currently.
Thrall versus Jaina.
You asked for it.
For doom.
Man, continuing the tradition of world's most awesome starting hands. Not too much to talk about on my mulligan.
It's funny.
Harrison Jones, I will consider keeping if I have the coin, and I'm going up against someone that can potentially play the weapon. But without the coin, I absolutely cannot keep a 5-drop.
Right. Give me 1 second here as I... Regular mage, okay. Alright. I believe I'm going to keep these. Let's see, did the overlay yep, okay, so we've got the new deck in there.
Alright, turn 1. Not too much to do. Never want to waste the arcane missiles on just hitting the face in this deck.
Absolutely.
Hello.
I can wait and fish all day.
Uh-oh. Yeah, that's way Nat. Alright.
I'm gonna switch it up. I'm gonna switch it up to my view
I can
for this
wait
game.
and fish all day.
We could pop back real quick though.
That's fine.
Nat on nat. We got a little nat on nat aggression.
Job's done.
Okay.
Switching back.
Now.
Got the mana worm. Not bad.
Normally I don't do that, but with the situation I have coming up on turn 4, it's a kind of a semi-calculated risk to throw out. They're not really that beneficial. Okay, so that definitely changes things.
Switching back up to your side of things. Got an Earthen Ring Farseer. Got two of those guys. Now, you don't really want those guys this early, certainly not two of them, so that's not wonderful. But regardless, it is going to be helpful at some point later in the deck. But, you know, as it stands right now, you could potentially, you know, heal up a minion after doing some damage. So it's not bad. It's not the best.
Yeah, I've also, I mean, it's one of these weird situations. Yeah. There's also potential to clear both your wolves, but it would use my poly.
Yeah.
And that's not really optimal.
No.
I think in this case, I'm actually going to bring out the water elemental.
Fair enough.
And keep the life on my mana worm. And save it for seeing what we get next turn. Knowing that you're only at 2 mana, so there's no lightning storm coming down. Of course, there can be lightning bolts, rock biters,
sure,
etc. But
yeah, 2 mana is not ideal for me at this turn.
What to do?
rock biter. Okay. I was hoping to not lose the mana worm, but it doesn't end up being too bad, as we are going to get the clear and get that heal up on the water.
That's really nice. That is really, really nice. I think my only option here is this.
Oh, wow.
Not a bad play, but certainly...
Why does that have to be so mean, man?
You know I do agronat.com. I'm still selling that website, man. Still selling those ads. So you're in a pretty good spot here. I do like your ability to continually heal up your big guy, and that's just painful. It's really hard for another person to deal with.
Yeah, I've got a couple of options. One option, which I don't actually mind, is bringing out the Sorcerer's Apprentice and killing off, straight up just killing off your Flame Tongue with a Fireball.
Mm-hmm.
And then killing your other minions. Of course, the other option is to kill your 2 ferals and re-heal. Leaving... you know, actually, as I'm thinking about that, leaving your Flame Tongue on board, that's not too bad.
Yeah, that seems like the better play to me.
And the more I think about it, it actually does leave me the ability to play Ice Block. And when you can work that in sometime in the mid-game, that's when you want to do so.
Yeah, the other option instead of Ice Block would be to start picking away at my board with the 1 damage. But
with what?
With your hero power.
My eyes are open.
I agree. However, you do have the potential to draw something like a Healing Totem.
Sure.
And just to be able to get the secret out there, so it's over and done with. It's been played. I don't have to worry about playing the secret versus playing a damage card later on in the game.
Mm-hmm.
What to do?
Well, something's gonna die, so I may as well do it now. But you didn't actually kill that one guy, so... Yeah, the Overload's hard in this scenario.
Yeah, and this is always also the tough situation of Do you sacrifice Nat, or do you let him go for another card?
Yeah.
You know, you could get that kill, but it would leave you no potential extra card.
Job's done.
I'd say that's pretty strong.
It's fairly strong.
Strong overall.
You're in a pretty good spot. The Mana Worm's a
Oh,
good
absolutely.
draw. 7 to go.
Someday I'll be just like you.
Flooding that board. Drawing them cards.
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, it does leave me open to the potential of a lightning storm.
Yep. Which it always will.
And so, really, the questionable play was playing the Apprentice. However, if she doesn't get stormed out, having her out now puts me in a really great situation for the following turns.
Yep. And as it happens, I drew it, thankfully.
That's fine. That's fine. That's how it's supposed to work.
I think I'm going to go for my... Actually, that's an interesting idea. If I bring down that... No, we're not going to do it. We're going to... Okay. Oh, my guy will die now, but I was hoping for the other spell power. That's the worst totem I could get, because it now also gets killed. Oh, and I didn't need the guy down, but it's better to not take the risk.
Right, I can agree there. I think that's pretty strong. Now, I did draw missiles. There's no real reason for me to missiles when I can
yeah, no, I agree.
clear them with the hero power and take one opportunity. While I do say I often use the fireballs for defense, when you have the opportunity, especially when you have control cards like a poly in hand,
yeah,
you got to take the opportunity to go.
Totally, I agree.
Get that damage.
Job's done.
Okay, now here's a situation where in my play I would often lean towards actually now playing Alexstrasza offensively in this case.
Yeah.
She's going to guarantee the 7 damage. You did play 1 Hex. Of course, there's a possibility of the second, but guaranteed 7 damage for 9 mana and forcing you to deal with her.
Yep. It's a strong play. Absolutely the right play. I don't think I have any other way to clear it. Nope. Now I'm going to force you to deal with it. Ha!
Okay.
Got your polymorph, which is solid.
I do.
And you got your arcane influence.
And we did just draw into the lethal.
Nice. Very nicely done. No polymorph necessary. Really strong.
I even overcalculated on that lethal, but
oh, what is it? Those Icelantis? That was
I had it no
unnecessary.
matter what. I had it no matter what.
You could have just fire blasted me. Look at you turning into the BM.
I'm playing too many games with you. What can I say?
Such BM. Such BM.
Wow, math is fundamental for this game, guys. So, yeah, don't forget.
Nice. Do you want to jump back into your deck?
Okay, so, I mean, this is one of those cases where the changes we made worked absolutely, like, perfect in the game that we just played.
Yep.
Obviously, that's not always going to be the case, but that did just demonstrate perfectly, like, the power of the Farseers.
I mean, it's not just
heal water elementals in that game.
Absolutely. I mean, it wasn't just about the healing of the water elemental. It's about the added bonus on top of what else is going on your board, and the variety of options it gives you. So granted, there were other things I could have gotten, there were better draws I could have gotten. There's a lot of things that can change, but ultimately this deck and the way it played out feels way stronger. Again, it's one or two games we looked at, but I feel like that's a change that one would want to keep. But you know, as is with a lot of things in Hearthstone, you want to play many games, iterate it out, see how it feels. But I feel like that's a really good change and adds a lot of potential strength to where you were weakest. And you obviously have a good end game. You obviously have potential for a good beginning game. And your mid game, it's not bad. That little extra punch, I feel like, is critical. And I like keeping the Blood Mage and the 2 Arcane Explosions after explaining the combination out. I think that's solid. So overall, I think that these are the minor sort of minuscule changes required to take the deck to the next level.
Yeah, absolutely. It's feeling good. And of course, the one other synergy that I was forgetting to mention with the Arcane Explosion is also the extra proc card for Archmage Antonidas play on turn 9.
For sure.
So I definitely like keeping all the spells, and the Farseer just, he feels, you know, he fits exactly into the theme of the deck that I described at the very beginning, which is spell-based and minions that synergize with spells or provide a direct, you know, larger benefit spell ability battle cry in themselves. And I think the 3 health for 3 mana qualifies in this case on the Farseer side of things.
Absolutely. So we're at the point where this analysis in these games took a little bit longer than normal. We were hoping to do a cooperative laddering, and it looks like we're out of time for tonight, but we have the potential to do that next week. So I think that we learned a lot and had a couple good games where we got to see how things developed. The one option we could do, though, is to play one of these games and potentially cut the first game that we played, so that when we finish up this segment, we show the second game and then the cooperative laddering. It's up to you. I'm fine with either or.
Oh, I mean, either's fine with me.
Okay. Well then, I think let's end it there. I think that was a really good episode. We got a lot in, and we're gonna have future episodes to play with this deck, see how it goes, see how you've developed it, and maybe if we want to sneak it into the back of another episode, we can just do a cooperative laddering with the deck as it stands at that future time, along with a few other segments that we're playing with.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't foresee this deck going anywhere for a while. I'm going to keep it around for sure for a while. I've been having a lot of fun with it. Having a lot of fun playing just the Mage in general again, and especially playing the Mage in kind of a different style, not pure aggression, not pure just, you know, minion-based rush down type of deal.
Absolutely.
Kind of like, you know, just trying things new. I think that's where a lot of the fun can get lost, at least for me, is just in the monotony of things, you know, playing decks that are popular over and over and over again. You know, it's fun, but mixing it up every once in a while is a lot of fun too. And so that was the goal with this deck, and it's been successful so far. Been enjoying it.
Absolutely, and I want to point out that the deck that you just beat pretty handily isn't a weapon-based deck, which your deck will be stronger against. Your deck will do better against a weapon-based deck, specifically because of our good friend, the Penitent Man, Mr. Harrison Jones. So that's a nice way to end the show. And I want to say thank you to everybody for watching. Thank you for everyone coming out and watching us through iHeartU, coming to our Twitch channel, which is Kobayashi Maru, and to the YouTube channel, which is C. Negrin. Thank you again to my co-host Tarn. It's been a lot of fun this week getting to look at your latest creation, tweak it, play against it, and get crushed. So it's been a lot of fun. Thank you.
Now is a great week, another great week. The show is always a blast, as always. And looking forward to next week, as long as I'm not fired.
We shall see. And on that note, thank you all, and we'll see you next week. Anybody mind if I roll need?